Good morning. It's Kirsten Liebelt. Good to see you. How are you doing? Good morning. Everybody jump on. I know some of you are very excited to get on and chat this morning. How are you? How was your night last night? I'd love to know, number one, if you're on the replay, let me know you're on the replay. Let me know where you're coming in from. That's always so good. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. I've been just putting content over there, and so I would love to curate that a little bit more for you guys. Good morning. Good morning. Jump on in from the balcony, TikTok. Come on in. We're going to talk about insulin resistance today, every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Insulin resistance, because it's my story. Morning glory. Good morning, Carol. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. And so Carol was on last night. She was on the longevity stream last night. I'd like to know who else was on and what is maybe just one nugget that you took away. You learned a lot last night. This was a good Zoom. Missed the first half. I know. I'm sorry, Lisa. You had weird stuff with your audio, didn't you? Dang it. Yeah, you never know. Sometimes technology, trust me, I know. Oy vey. Technology can really be a stinker. It's taught me a lot of patience. It's taught me a lot of stick-to-itiveness. It was so good. Carol says, I need more protein. Yeah, me too. You're not alone. It's so interesting because every day we come on and we have this conversation. You guys, just think about how validated we are in our conversation. Think about how confirming everything was, right? Because I feel like every single day, at least once a day, I say online somewhere, this is not a calorie in, calorie out conversation. This is a hormonal conversation. And when you change the lens to how you're viewing your weight loss, your lack of sleep, your anxiousness, your sadness, your bloating, there's so many things, your HBP, your PCOS, everything. Once you understand and you start to view everything through insulin resistance, and insulin is a hormone, it changes everything. You have hormonal issues too. Yep. I know. And it's a really common thing for women, right? It's very, very common. And it's very frustrating. Thank you so much for liking. Hello, Ruthie. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So last night was spectacular. And there are a couple of things that I really want to bring to the forefront because you guys are going to be very interested in this. You're going to be very interested. So he talked a couple of things. I know Lisa said, or maybe it was Carol that was just saying, I need to up my protein. Me too. That was, I feel like, some of the most interesting information pieces. And so this is what happened last night for all of y'all who don't know. So we had a longevity expert come in. He's been in the industry for 30 years. And he's talking about not just how to age, but how to age with function, how to age well. What are your important factors? And how can we help you to lose weight? Because obviously weight is very detrimental for so many reasons. If it's a metabolic weight, if you have metabolic syndrome, you're insulin resistant, you're type 2, you are all of these things, then that's very damaging and concerning, right? Because it's not just, good morning, Donna, good to see you. It's not just simplistic, oh, you have a few extra pounds on you. No, it can be very detrimental because metabolic syndrome moving forward is we're talking type 2 diabetes and dementia. And we're talking about a lot of things that are very, very, have a lot of weight to them. Right. And so he's talking about that. And he's talking about two different things. He's talking about metabolic weight loss and thermogenic weight loss. So I can't wait to explain that a little bit today because it changes the game just a tiny bit. And the whole thing is, we're going to get to tweak a tiny bit and you're going to be able to get even better results so last night, first of all, Linda says that John Klusterman was very informative and you took lots of notes. I'm so glad you took so many notes, Linda. It was so good to see you. And Tony, it was so good. And I know that Pam is probably watching. So hi, Pam. And it was so fun because I'm like, Pam, how are you doing? She just beams and she goes, I just feel so good. I feel so good. And she's been on this protocol the same one that you guys are all on with me, right? And she said, my clothes, they're looser, and I'm like, this is just it. Anyway, I mean, I won't say Pam's age, but I'll be 60 next month, and she's a little bit ahead of me. Not by much, but a little bit. And so I'm just telling you, listen, when you're in your 60s and you can start to nail this down, don't live in regret. But how many of you would be like raising victory arms? You're in your 60s and you finally figure out how to lose weight. Hello. This is like what we wanted to understand and know. So let's get into this. Some of the most important things that I feel like he brought to the table last night. He was talking a lot about eating protein, and he was being very specific about different age ranges. And yeah, Lisa, that's so fascinating. Lisa's saying that she didn't know that cattle shouldn't eat corn, just grass, and about the fish oil, about the omega-3 and the 6, and about how much of 6 and how to eat your meal, all protein. Yeah, exactly. There were so many different pieces to what he was talking about. And again, this is all so important to know. And that's why she's talking about cows eating corn. Well, you guys, they use corn to fatten up cows. Corn is turned into syrup. Corn is not for us, the insulin resistant. It's not. And so when you get your beef at the store and blah, 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 I'm picking up a half a beef tomorrow and it's grass fed. It makes me really happy to have that in the freezer. But yeah, there was a lot of pieces to that, weren't there? So when he's talking about muscle, or he's talking about protein and longevity, and how basically all the food that you're eating is cell regeneration. So everything that you eat is for the regeneration of your cells. So you want to make sure that you are eating foods that actually help you regenerate your cell and not kill your cell, right? So when he's talking about when you are in your senior years, your most important things, like when you're 30 to 50, you're setting yourself up for a long life. But when you're in your senior years, which most of us are now, right? In my universe, right? We're over 50. Now, not all of us are, but most of us are. So I'll just speak to that for a minute. He says, the number one thing you need to be doing is maintaining your protein. And he goes, and you have to get it up there. You got to get it way up there. And so he was talking about how now he specifically eats a ton, like he eats an insane amount of protein, but he also has 12% body fat. So we're not looking to live like him. He's got his own thing going on, and he's a guy, and it's different for men. But he said women are absolutely 100% not eating enough protein, period, the end. And so one of the good things for you guys to know and just to take note of is in January, they are launching a grass-fed whey protein powder. What? I was like, OMG. I mean, you guys think about this, when I talk about like the organic greens and the organic berries, and it's like, if you would just pause and think for a minute how much it costs to buy organic greens and organic berries and to keep those in your house and to keep them from spoiling, and you can have them harvested and then put into, peak harvest, peak ripeness, and then put into a powder. You're getting the best of the best of the best off of organic farms. Like, it's crazy. So to have grass-fed whey protein coming to us, you guys, we're going to easily be able to hit our protein goals. Okay. So just put that in your hat for just January, that's going to get launched. But in the meantime, he's talking about, most women do not get enough protein. We need more muscle. And around 45 years old, that's when chronic disease and bone and muscle loss begin. And so 8 things to add to your 24 years to life. You have to add muscle. You have to pick up heavy stuff and put heavy stuff down every single day. I loved how he talked about that. And how basically your body would rather run on ketones. And that's really important. And you need to be getting them from your meat, and from the fat of your meat, right? And then he was talking about how micronutrients build your cell wall. And I loved how he talked about the protein powders that can get into you. He said, when you have a whey protein powder, it's not as broad for nutrition, but that protein will get assimilated into your body really fast. Whereas a plant protein it has a higher broad aspect for the dimension of vitamins and nutrients. However, it can be very hard it's not as assimilated. So the whey protein, when you go out and you buy a protein powder, and he said, you're buying a protein powder, whatever it is, and maybe you only get 20% of it assimilated. He's like, well, that's not very good, right? He said, now compare that to maybe a plant protein where the assimilation might be, 50 to 65%. The whey protein will be like 80%. It's a very high assimilation into your body. He said within about a half an hour, it's in your system. The protein has made it to your muscles, and it'll come and go quickly, but it will do a really good powerhouse job. So very fascinating thought processes on protein powders. But he really did talk a lot about getting that protein number up and over 100 grams a day, every single day for women. Get it up and over. And we talk about that a lot here, don't we? And so I felt like that was very confirming and helpful. And he said, look at your goal weight. And what is your goal weight? Do that in grams of protein every day. He eats an insane amount of protein. He's on his own plan, like I said. But think about that. Like, really push that protein level, and then you will feel satiated longer. Now, this was very interesting, and I don't remember at what point, because we got to chat with him and ask him questions afterwards. So I don't know if you guys heard it or not. So I'll just talk and you guys can decide whether or not you heard this. But he did talk about how intermittent fasting, and he said did he say over 40 or 50? I'm going to pretend it was over 50. He said, I do not recommend intermittent fasting. He said, now men and women are different, but for women, he said it actually, to find this very delicate balance, this was his take on it. There's a very delicate balance with hormonal pieces. And in the side of that delicate balance, because weight loss is hormonal, we talk about this. It's hormonal. He said it's hard to strike that delicate balance unless you really know what to do. He said, however, this is what I would recommend. So this is really for you guys right now. Listen up. He said, when you are insulin resistant, and a lot of his conversation was about insulin resistance, because this is the number one topic in the United States of America right now. Like, we are a bunch of insulin resistant people running around wondering, why can't I lose weight? Why is my belly so big? Why am I so bloated? What's going on? This is common. Like, you guys are in my inbox right now, and I apologize for everybody that I haven't gotten to yet in my inbox. I'm getting there. I promise. I did get up this morning and I answered a bunch of you, but I know I've got more to go. So when we talk about insulin resistance, he said, get your protein way up there. And then when you're eating your protein, you're going to feel, I just love his conversation because it's what I say. You'll feel full and you'll feel satiated. And then don't snack. Wait 4 hours before you eat again. Like, make that your goal. Because every time you're eating in between meals, you're spiking your insulin again. You're calling on insulin. No matter what you eat, you're calling on insulin. Okay? So that, he said, in his opinion, is way better information and something to apply in your life than to intermittent fast when you are over 50 years old. Super fascinating. He said, you will be shocked. You will be shocked at how much better that is for your body. That's what he said. So Lisa, what he's saying? Oh, Joanna. No, Joanna. He actually said, were you on the live last night, Joanna? Were you on the Zoom? I'd love to know. Anybody who was on the Zoom, will you tell me that you were on the Zoom? Because I will follow up anyway, but I do want to know if people were on the Zoom. Make this a 2-hour live. This one right now, Lisa, you're so funny. What about omega-3 and omega-6 fish oils and nut oils and balance? Ooh, such a good conversation. Such a good conversation. I never feel hungry and I know I'm eating less protein. That's fascinating. That's very fascinating. Because usually it's protein that really helps you. You were on, Carol. Yay. That 4-hour no eat between big meals was a great hack. It's a great hack. And I'm telling you what, I'll get off this live. I do this like almost every single day. And I'll go have, now he eats a lot of eggs. I eat about 3 eggs. I could, whatever. 3 eggs, that's 18 grams of protein. And then I'll either do a chicken sausage, which is another 13 or 14 grams of protein, or I'll do like 3 strips of bacon or something like that. So I'm eating straight protein, and that will last me for hours. The other day, like it almost makes it so that it's not to say that you're not going to have an emotional trigger for food, or you're not going to have a bored trigger for food, or that you're not going to have a stress trigger for food. But as far as actually feeling hungry, it really stabilizes your blood sugar and it keeps everything super yummy for a long time. And then you're able to very much wait 4 hours when you prioritize protein like that. So when he was talking last night about the order of food to eat, he was saying, he said, we have it wrong, in his opinion. Protein first. And I wish I would have written down, because it doesn't matter. Protein first, he says, and then veggies, your fiber. And then if you must have carbs, that's when you eat them. You eat them last. He said, but most Americans, you could go without eating 1 carb for a very, very long time because we have such high BMI. So he's like, it's not even necessary. However, if you're going to eat carbs, eat them last. Super interesting. He was pretty strong about that. He's like, you could go months. And the truth is that, we probably are not very well educated on what has carbs and what doesn't. We think about the common things, we know chips and candy and stuff, but even onions have carbs. So it's not like we're not getting carbs. I mean, that's ridiculous. And, most everything has carbs other than meat and eggs, and cheese. Anyway, so yes, Ruth says, you are correct. Yeah, that is super interesting. Now, the whole omega-3 thing. So I'm going to actually, I'm going to go into, if you guys want to, if anybody wants to just take a couple of notes when I start talking about the supplementation, please do so, because I'm going to give you information that he gave us. And then you can decide how and when you want to implement things. And then you can come back in and ask me questions. You can ask me here or behind the scenes. Either way is great. But I do want to tweak a couple of thought processes for you. Is that okay? Can I tweak just a couple of things? And I think it's going to help you actually move into a different state of fat burning, but also into understanding how to deal with the inflammation in your body. So she asked the question about omega-3 and omega-6. So like he said, omega-6 we have to have both in our body. The problem is that in the United States, we are just so high on the omega-6 scale because we eat so many seed oils. Like, it's just obnoxious. Seed oils are in freaking everything. Every little Chick-fil-A sauce that you grab, most every single mayonnaise, even if it says avocado mayonnaise, it starts with soybean oil. Every granola bar and prepackaged box of whatever and blah, blah, blah. That's why, like Dr. Ben Bickman, he says, no bags, no boxes, and no barcodes. If you can get rid of bags, boxes, and barcodes, you're going to get rid of most of the things that are really frustrating your body. Okay. So we just are so high omega-6, like, whoa, way up here. And that's high inflammation. So that's why we have to get our inflammation down. Man, do we need to get it down. Okay. So what happens is we are way out of ratio. We're like this. We're cockeyed with our omega-6 and our omega-3. We're like going to tip over. So we have to bring it into balance. But again, some of the things that he had talked about, and I just don't, it doesn't matter. I don't know if everybody heard some of the things because I can't remember where we were in that moment. It might've been afterwards. But when he's talking about like fish oil, for instance, he goes, this is the deal. These are the things that set us apart as a nutrition, a health and wellness company. We do our own organic farming, of course, and we've been around for 90 years and all of these things he said. But, one of the things, and I'll get back to the fish here in just a second. He said, one of the things would be, let's just talk about our magnesium for half a second. He said, we had a magnesium and it was good, but it was not great. And it is very important that we put out something that is not being duplicated in the marketplace. So that's why the blends are so important. And when I do in our business meetings, if I do a presentation on product of the week, I always talk about how they're so known for their blends. Nobody else is doing what they're doing. And the turmeric would be one example. The turmeric is, he said, our turmeric is 45 times more absorbable. Our fish oil is twice as absorbable as another fish oil. Plus it's, wild caught. Like, they're going to go to a different level. So he said the magnesium that's coming out in March, it's coming out in March. And I put a picture of it in my stories. So if you want to see like any information on it, I'm so excited. And because I said to him, I said, this is really, obviously it's important. Magnesium is important for everybody, but in talking to you guys, God, I wish I could interview him. Wouldn't that be amazing? That'd be great. In talking about women, wow, do we need this magnesium answer? It's like over 300 cell functions in your body that need to be firing at a different level because of magnesium, he said. But our magnesium, it's marine sourced. He said magnesium is supposed to come from water, but it doesn't do that anymore in our evolution of how we have kind of messed up our supplies, etc. And so, hold on, where did he say we get ours from? Irish seawater. That's where they're going to get their magnesium from. That's where they are getting it from. And he's been, he's been testing it himself for the last 6 months. And it's going to be specifically helpful for stress and sleep. Stress and sleep. And twice the absorption. And so anyway, I love that because it does matter where you're getting your supplements from. And like I've said a million times, people will say, well, that's not FDA approved. No, because that's not. FDA is Food and Drug Administration. It's not Food, Drug, and Supplement Administration. So no, it's not FDA approved. But on the other hand, it's not FDA approved. So there's a lot of wiggle room for frustration in ingredients or faulty ingredients or fillers, etc. Okay, so hold on. I want to see because I knew it. Yes, Donna. Thank you for noticing, you doll. You're so cute. Yes, and you did not know that fish oil has something to do with the brain and gut connection. Absolutely. And I can address that too. Because your gut, you guys, that's where 90% of your serotonin is made. And if you have a lot of inflammation going on in your gut, game over. Like, you've got to get rid of the inflammation because it is a gut brain. I can't, on Facebook, you can't see my gut. It is a gut brain conversation. It is. And if you can fix your gut, this is why fixing your gut, Lisa, you're so cute. You can fix your gut. You can fix your mental health. I suppose I can't make that claim, but your gut would be connected to your mental health. Okay. So you really do want to pay attention to that. And there are a couple of things. Number one, I always say insulin resistance is the core of freaking everything. Like, what the heck? This is crazy pants. And number two, inflammation is the core of like all disease. Like, we've got to deal with our inflammation, but if we just keep throwing spaghetti at the wall to see something that's going to work, we just found a new gummy at Walgreens. I mean, come on. We're not thinking this through. Like, if we're 50 and 60 years old, 70 years old, like, we need to have different answers with different levels of quality and different levels of standards, and one more thing, and then I'll go on to my tweaking thought process for you guys for weight loss. According to the information he gave us last night, this will interest everybody, but it will most specifically interest every single one of you that's already my customer. You're going to want to know just how to tweak a little bit your own regimen, your own routine. But he said, this is the deal. When you have an ingredient in a supplement that is less than point whatever, like just a really low minuscule amount, you are not required to put it on the ingredient list. He said, but we as a company have full transparency. So we put every ingredient. So when people talk about like maltodextrin as a binder, he said, the minusculeness of it is negligible. We put it on. Most everybody doesn't because they don't have to. They're not regulated to. He said, but we do. So put it into proper perspective and just know that we're being transparent. You probably already have it in a binder and you don't even know it in another brand. He said, but it's so minuscule, it's negligible to your effects of being concerned about it. So hold on just a second here. Hello, Carla. Good to see you. Ironically, lots of over-the-counter supplements are owned by, I know, they're owned by Big Pharma. So FDA approved is not the badge needed anymore. This is 100% true. Thank you for bringing that up, Linda. That was that reel that got taken down. It was on TikTok. And I saw this, I saved it and I was going to literally the next day, I was going to teach you guys on it and it got banned. So this tells you, right? Come on, anything that's taken down, we know now. We know what's happening. And he was standing in front of all of the supplement counters at a Walgreens or whatever, at a drugstore. And he said, this brand is owned by this PHARMA company. This brand is owned by this PHARMA company. This one is owned by this one. And he said, and why do they all have nature in the name? He goes, but they're all owned by those companies because they're cashing in on both sides for you. So just know that if you're looking for something that's not being produced by a PHARMA company, I'm your girl. I am your girl. And USA made. Sheila, thank you so much for liking and loving on the TikTok. Thank you. Thank you. It gets information pushed out. Makes me so happy. What did he say? Take magnesium, turmeric, and then you will sleep like you were 12. Okay, let's start. I'm going to tweak a few things for you. I'll start with this one. He goes, so this is what he does. Now, of course, he's talking about our line specifically. And I'm telling you, if you have taken a turmeric in the past and you did not get results and you want results that are different, it's because we're 45 times more absorbable. I'm not, it's in the literature. I'm not saying anything that's not on the actual bottle or online about it. Okay. So I'm not making crap up. So 45 times more absorbable. And this is what he said. Now we don't have access to the magnesium yet. That's in March. So everybody just put it in your calendar. March is the launch. You're going to hear me screaming from the mountaintops that it's coming in March. And so he takes 2 magnesium. He admittedly has a hard time sleeping. He just is one of those people. He's very fit. He eats extremely well. Maybe he just doesn't require. There are some people like that. But anyway, he says he takes 2 magnesium, 2 of the turmeric, 2 of the ashwagandha. So he doesn't spread them out over the day. He takes 2. And a vitamin C. And remember, I've talked to you about our vitamin C is from acerola cherries, which is a high potency. It's like the second highest ingredient, second highest, because it's from acerola cherries, which is the second highest ability to get vitamin C from. So it's not trash vitamin C, low grade citric acid, whatever. It's high. So he says he'll take a vitamin C. It's time released, high antioxidants overnight as he sleeps, cellular regeneration. Okay. So he does that. He goes, you'll sleep like you're 12. I thought that was really funny because we all kind of want our sleep. And again, that new magnesium, it's going to be for stress and sleep. So this is what I want to help tweak with you guys today. And I'm starting my tweaking right away. Okay. So I'm going to go on this journey with you because the more we know, the more we can actually really help our bodies to continue to go into fat burning mode. Thank you. I appreciate you so much, Sheila. Thank you. And then hearts just went off. I am truly awesome. The way that I'm explaining things is amazing. Your approach is truly unique. You are amazing. I'm going to actually screenshot you because you're very sweet. Oh, that didn't work. I have my buttons I can't even. That's so funny. Because thank you for saying that. I appreciate that very, very much. I really want people to have simplicity on this. And he also was, I felt anybody who was on the Zoom last night, I felt like he was very streamlined and clear and just streamlined. And so when it comes to weight loss, Now, remember, we talk about everything through the lens of insulin resistance. So bringing him in last night and him then talking about insulin resistance was like music to my ears, because I know that I know that I know that I know that I know. I am so convinced, you cannot unconvince me, that women are in their 40s, they're sliding into their 40s, they are insulin resistant, and they cannot lose weight. And they're being told, count your points, buy a $1,200 processed food program so they can tell you how many calories to eat, or take an injection, or do all of these things, right? Intermittent fast your little head off and go elliptical bike, your little tush off, and all of these things. And not one person in general is usually saying, oh, by the way, FYI, you might want to know, insulin is a hormone. And this is a hormonal conversation. So let's have a proper hormonal conversation to help you actually finally be able to lose weight. So last night, when my friend Pam shows up and she's beaming, and she's just a little older than me, but not by much. So I'll be 60 next month. How many of you would like to not give up when you're 60 at finally losing weight? And she's like, my clothes are so much looser. Yes, because we're talking about a hormonal conversation. So basically what he's saying is there are two different ways to lose fat off of your body. He's saying there's a metabolic weight loss and there's a thermogenic weight loss. Okay. Metabolic is what you and I talk about all the time. We talk about the trio, the glucose product, the liver support, helping your liver function at a different level. And then what he's saying is the slimmetry is actually thermogenic. Okay. So we have metabolic and then we have thermogenic. He said, what if, and this is, I'm going to put this now into my own words. Okay. This is my own conversation in my head after having listened to him and then talked to him and asked questions. So what if the metabolic, this is what I do know, the metabolic piece of your puzzle for weight loss, that is a continuing journey. That's why I tell you, insulin resistance, it doesn't get fixed overnight. I'm not even claiming that anything's going to fix anything. I'm just telling you, you can turn it back and it's 100% reversible. Okay. And then you can take you can look at the top of my Instagram page at the pink highlight bubble, and you can see all of the trio testimonies for yourself. You don't need to take my word for it. Okay. So that is a long-term thought process, metabolic. And he said the brand newest product that they just launched that I haven't even talked to you guys about yet, but I did take it this morning because I didn't understand it. It's literally called metabolic, and it's a pre and it's post biotic. And so I said to him, I don't understand why a pre and post biotic that is specifically for metabolism, when there's a pre and post that was my frother, when there's a pre and post in the gut primer. And he said, well, they are completely different strains. And these are isolated strains for metabolic. I'm going to use the word speed up because we want to, in our brains, we want to speed up our metabolism. We want our metabolism to fire. So that's very specific. So on here, it says metabolic and weight. Okay. Metabolic supports healthy weight. That's what this pre and post is doing. He goes, okay, so put this in the metabolic camp. Okay. I'm like, okay. And it's actually very cool. And it's made from purple, I don't remember, purple carrots and whatever. But anyway, it's purple. Look at that. It's purple. Isn't that fun? And you take 2 of them and it says preferably in the morning. Okay. So metabolism, long-term. Okay. Then he said thermogenic, short-term. All right. So track with me. Let me know if you're having a hard time tracking. I'll answer questions. Thermogenic, the blood orange, clinical dose of the blood orange is thermogenic. So metabolic, insulin resistance is a part of metabolic syndrome. So you want your metabolism to finally function again. Thermogenic is, so that's long-term. Heal, I'm not claiming supplements heal anything. Your own journey of supplementation, supporting your systems, and then changing the way you eat, which is what I teach in the Facebook group. Over time, let's just say that the choices you're making, well-rounded, are healing your insulin resistance, bringing it into balance again, going from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. That's what you want your body to do. It takes more than a night. It takes more than 2 weeks. It takes more than 6 months. It might take a year. It might take longer. I don't know. Your factors are different than mine. Okay. That's long-term metabolic help. Short-term, little, let's see, how do I want to say this? Short-term, like a little punch to your fat, like let's thermogenically heat up, and what we would want to say in our terminology, burn fat. We want to heat up and like a laser. And that's why this one has been helping so much for so many people, because it literally targets your waist and your hips. So a lot of you are experiencing that right now and you're like, what? This is amazing. But this is what I want to tell you. Your body can actually get used to this. So, yep, you've got your glucose and your liver support, and then even the metabolic pre and post metabolism. But then when it comes to the thermogenic, he said 90 days on and then take a break. Don't let your body get used to this short-term laser, like, don't let your body get used to it. Back off. So what I'm going to do is, because I've been taking this since August, so now I'm going to stop, which is so sad because it's my candy treat for the day. So I'm going to stop for a month, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to tell you. Now, he said, we have studied for a year and we do see results for up to a full year. We do. But they wane. So if you want to be able to, like, lose, and then instead of kind of stabilizing forever, why not lose and then reignite? Lose and then reignite by pausing. All right, is everybody tracking with me? Are you guys good so far? Tell me if you're not tracking. Burst. That's a good word, Ruth. Burst. Yep, purple carrots. You want my email address? I'm trying to think. Is that on that might be on my profile. But yes, you can absolutely find my email address. You bet. You can message me right here on Instagram. Okay. So that's a good question, Lisa. I'm going to answer that. Back off for 1 month. And actually, when I looked it up on when I was just doing some research this morning, it said you could do 4 to 6 weeks. Mandy! So the Ignite powder and Slimetry are for short-term weight loss, and the metabolic pre and post for long-term. Yes, Mandy. So let me explain that then. Does that apply to the Slimetry when it comes to taking a break? Donna, you guys are so ahead of me. You're so ahead of me. Okay, so your two thermogenics. Your two thermogenics are the Slim and the Ignite. Those are your two thermogenics. So to like laser focus on your, I keep trying not to say fat burning, but it's the only thing that I can think of that it's really doing, because thermogenics means to heat up. That's why the little fire emoji in my brain. So if you want to heat up and laser target your little fat cells that are on your waist and on your hips, go for 90 days. So wherever you have started, go for 90 days with the Slimetry and the Ignite for short-term laser focus. Okay? Because those are your thermogenics. But your metabolic is going to be long-term, and don't let up on that. The glucose, the liver, and the metabolic pre and post. You guys doing okay? I'm really trying to make it simple. It makes sense in my head. So in my head, total clarity. What's coming out of my mouth? Not so sure. You got to let me know. But she asked the question about the probiotic. Yeah. Pre and post. So pre and postbiotics are completely different than probiotics. So pre and post is a different bird than the probiotic that I take. I think I already took mine. I did, but I don't have another one sitting here. My little powder that I take that has 5 strains. That's a probiotic. That's a completely different bird. Pre and post are 2 different things. And so you are really getting this trifecta going on. And when we start to understand, he said, your gut is so freaking important. Like, you've got to get your gut under control. You've got to, because you want to get that inflammation down. And a really, 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 this is me now, not him, really big reason to be doing the gut primer is the nutritional absorption. Because if you can't get your body to absorb the nutrients from the supplements that you're taking and from the food that you're eating, you're not functioning at primo levels. And so what'll happen then is other things start to work better because you started to prime your gut every morning. You started to take a probiotic every morning. You started to change your microbiome and get it to function at a higher level so that you can finally absorb your nutrients, so that you can finally deal with your digestive issues, because insulin resistance leads to leaky gut, leaking nutrition. And there are many signs of nutritional deficiencies, but like Ruth, she talks to people about the fact that nutritional deficiencies that's leading to your hair loss and your hair shedding. Sometimes they'll show up on your nails. They'll show up in many different areas of your life that you have nutritional deficiencies. And I think to myself, how is this possible that we live in the United States of America and we have nutritional deficiencies on this level? How is this possible? Well, it's very possible because our food system has been trashed for so long. We have so much high omega-6, high ultra processed foods, high chemicals, low regulation on the things that matter the most. That's why. Okay, so hold on. So Mandy is saying that she heard last night insulin resistance, to take the glucose and the carb blocker, you're going to swap out taking Slimetry on a daily basis for the carb blocker. Isn't that interesting? I wish I would have heard more about that, but he said that was very important. He felt like the carb blocker was very important. That was interesting. Yes, Carla, the Begin product. Yep. The primer. Yes, ma'am. No, you still need a probiotic, Lisa. So you can choose the stress one, or you can choose, which I think probably for you is a good one, or you could choose the powder stick, the balance. And even if you wanted to, Lisa, you could probably rotate every month. But you need those strains in your body. You need the good bacteria to get back in that way. You need that. I hope I'm not missing anything. Lori, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here and liking. You're amazing. Such good questions, you guys. Keep them coming if you have more questions. He didn't go into much detail about it, but I did hear him mention that while I was taking notes with my tongue hanging out. Yes. And he brought it up again at the end when people were kind of standing around him talking, and he brought up the carb blocker. And that is one, when I was on my way home, I'm like, I wonder why he had such a great emphasis on the carb blocker. But I have a feeling there are a couple of people. So if anybody from the team, from the Grotwald team, if you are watching me right now and you have a really good answer for the whole carb blocker conversation, would you message me and tell me? Because I do know that he was definitely really highlighting that. And that's just something that and maybe I don't need to start taking again, but I haven't taken carb blocker forever. You were wondering on the new one. Oh, got it. Lisa, two different completely things. So this is a pre and a post. Completely different strains than the probiotic that you're taking. Completely different. But thank you for asking that. And this one is very specific for metabolic. So he's like, metabolism. And that's where we're trying to. So I feel like there's a little shift with understanding. And yes, in fact, you should take both. Having a pre, a post, and a pro. So pre, pro, post. It's just that the pre and the post get put together. They have a different level of stability than does a probiotic. Probiotics are live cultures, and you want them to land alive in your body. So, and you know what the thing is that once you start to, he said, you can actually get your gut up and running fairly quickly, but you can destroy it even faster. So because we are in kind of a constant stream of, destroying a little bit, we keep going on getting it into alignment. But the thing is that he said he would very much prioritize gut health as a base for everything. Because again, if you cannot absorb the nutrients from the food that you eat or the supplements that you're taking, so doing a gut reset. And so as we go into January now, we have our 5-day reset that we do every month. And it will start on January 6th. In the group, and I put that there for you guys on TikTok, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. In that group, we'll do a 5-day reset. It's our 20th one. Hey, Julie. Good to see you. Good to see you. It'll be our 20th one. That's amazing. That's really amazing. And it's time for a reset. You can start right now. Like, don't pause. I had somebody already ask me, the flash sale that I was doing yesterday, where when you purchase 150, I'll give you $15 back, Amazon or Venmo. And most of y'all are choosing Amazon. I don't blame you. If I would extend that today, I will extend that today for you. Get in your hands, get in your little paws what you need for January. You know darn well that like in 2 weeks, it is New Year's Day, right? 2 weeks from yesterday is New Year's Day. And we all feel that, we either did the holidays well, or we kind of like wavered, or we tanked. Everybody's going to be in a different place, but we're going to do this without any shame. Okay. So we are a part of the No Shame Club. All right. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to literally get on a track to run on. Okay. It's a completely different track than everybody else is talking about, because most people are not talking about this from a hormonal perspective. So we're going to talk about metabolic weight loss, and we're going to talk about thermogenic weight loss and how to capitalize and how to actually like take down. You want to be that happy person in your 60s. Like Terry had just lost 40 pounds in 8 months, and she's 62. Or Pam last night, who's in her 60s. And she's like, I just feel so good. My clothes are getting looser. Like, this is what we want, right? So let's absolutely crush weight loss in the new year. Let's just crush it. So get ready. Get your products in hand. Have them in your kitchen. If you do not even know what I'm talking about, reach out to me. I'll help you choose what you do need and not buy things that you don't need. Let's not do that. Okay? So you might want to start out with like the trio and understand how to like properly use a thermogenic for 90 days and then take a break and then come back at it again. You might want to add in the gut reset protocol or the blood orange thermogenic. And some of you are just like, I just want everything. I just need to understand how to use it. That's where I come in. Don't sit and be lost ever. Don't do that. I am available for your consultation. Like, that's the whole point. If I can help you customize and get results, man, it fires me up. Come on. So let's be ready for January 6th. And then you can absolutely do a complete reset. Okay. You don't have to wait till January 6th, but on January 6th, we'll do the reset. And then you can learn about ingredient food trade outs, and you can learn about a recipe, and you can just get yourself encouraged and resourced. And it is such a great group of women, 5,000 of us, that are so encouraging and so uplifting and so on board with your success. And you can pay attention to more of the encouragement and the success of or the cheering of your success from other women than you listen to the negative Nellies or the naysayers or the food pushers that might be at your Christmas Eve celebration. Because that's really frustrating and that can get very down. Or you might spend the next 10 days, and don't do this, the next 14 days being unkind to yourself in your mind. That's a bunch of baloney. Don't be doing that. That's just BS. Don't do that. If you need a book, go read the book, What to Say When I Talk to Myself. Get into the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Carol, you're so amazing. Get into the group. And in, I think it's guide 6, where we went through, I think it was 6 weeks, we did little short snippets of Jenny Potter's book, Self-Sabotage No More. And then I interviewed her. Like, get yourself resourced and encouraged and lifted up so that you can hit January feeling strong, feeling like you're ready to finally give yourself permission to journey, because it's a journey. It's not overnight. We're not losing 10 pounds by Saturday for the dance. That was a different season in our life. And for everybody else who's talking about all you have to do is count points, or all you have to do, it's not for you. I'm just going to tell you the truth. That's not advice for you. Not when you're insulin resistant. You actually need to deal with what's going on with your engine. And I was so happy when I stood there and I talked to him for a minute about the fact that this is a cellular conversation. How many times have you heard me say, let's fix you at the cellular level? Gotta fix your cell health. You need certain nutrients in your life to build your cell walls and to get them to function properly, because it is your cell that is resistant. It's resistant to the hormone insulin. And then insulin is a fat storing hormone. And you don't want that anymore. I'm not confused at all. It was such a good conversation last night. It was so good. It was very validating and confirming. And it was, it's the tweaks I think that we need for 2025. Let's learn how to kick into gear and fire up fat loss, and then back off, and then reignite, and then back off, and then reignite. And let's find out where we land December of 2025. Because I'll tell you, when I first started taking the Ignite, when I first started taking this little fat burner, thermogenic product, clinical dose, I literally was like, I didn't tell you guys about it because I had to find out if it was going to spike sugars, and it doesn't. And I just needed to test it myself. It's the same thing with the ashwagandha. I tested it first. And I was like, is this really helping my hips? Like, what's going on? So I can tell that at the very front end of it, I saw really great results. I'm still seeing results, but they have slowed down. Exactly what he said. They don't stop. They just wane. So right away, you might see results that are kind of like this, and then you kind of feel this a little bit. So he goes 90 days, pause, 90 days, pause. And you can do that both with the blood orange and the Slimetry. Okay. They're both thermogenics. So pair them up, couple them up, and think of those in terms of 90 days. But then as far as metabolic goes, that you want to keep going like this, get in your routine and don't get off of your routine and stay in your routine and get your body one level of moving up, up, up. Do the glucose, the liver, and the pre-post metabolic. Like, do both and get both helpers. Get metabolic fat loss and thermogenic fat loss. But I want you to have understanding, because if you do not have understanding, it keeps you from staying in routine, because we are so marketed to that we are, everything is jazz hands, I say, magic potion, jazz hands. Oh, I can't believe that I just dropped 20 pounds, like it was potatoes yesterday, like that kind of stuff. Like, that doesn't help us. What helps us is, okay, we're all going to open up the hoods of our engines and of our vehicle, and we're going to go in. Let's go down deep into a cellular level and get our body to function differently, so that it literally starts to fire, so that it literally starts to do what it needs to do. You've got to bring down your insulin. You got to bring down your sugars. You got to get your liver working. You need to get your metabolism firing again. And then, like little lasers, boo, 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 you can thermogenically target belly and hips. Is a really, really good plan. I'm so excited. Oh, Lisa. Yep. She says educational. Very good. How long of a break do you have to take? I would say let's start with 30 days and see what happens. 30 days. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to track it from right now. Today is December 19th. I'm going to track it until January 19th. And because I've been taking the thermogenics for more than 90 days. So I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to restart in January, a month later. I'm going to give my body a break, and I'm going to see if it reignites. Okay. I'm very excited about this, because sometimes we get really frustrated that things can work on the front end, right? And you do have to change the way you're eating. You do have to figure out your food ingredient trade-outs. But you guys, that's where I shine. I really shine in that arena because I'm Italian. Okay. And so being a foodie was such a part of our upbringing. I thought that I literally had less than zero belief in myself that I could ever trade out. Number one, that I could ever be a disciplined person. How was that ever going to happen? And number two, how was I going to trade out the foods that I loved so much? That was never going to happen in my head. And so being able to do that and still be a foodie just means everything to me, only because I don't have to have shame over that anymore. Because I think there was a lot of guilt placed on us anyway about how, waste not, want not, be a part of the Clean Plate Club. There are children starving in third world countries. We should feel bad that we have abundance. Like, this is ridiculous. As if it's our fault that we live in a fruitful land. Like, this is dumb, right? But sometimes we have those thoughts still floating around in our brains after all these years. And so no shame that I just was raised to be a foodie and enjoy my culture, my Italian culture. Instead, embrace it. And in fact, I will be making sauce and meatballs here in a few days with my daughter, because it's what we do every year. And then we hand them out, blah, blah, blah. And no, those meatballs are not keto. But I still make them every year because that's what we do, because they are really good. And, but the sauce is very amazing, and whatever, it doesn't matter. It's totally fine. I can eat sauce all the time. And, but my point being that you have to position yourself to be able to, like, take a little bit of a journey and not be so hard on yourself, but also to let's, like, dial this in really tightly, because I can't wait to hear some of your results. So some of you have been on the fat burner now for, let's say, 60 days, go another 30 and then take a break. Okay. And ask me questions, get in the group, get in Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. Get in the group, because we'll start our 5-day reset January 6th. And you don't want to miss out on that. Where everybody else is already giving up on their New Year's resolutions, you could be like kicking it into third, fourth gear on January 6th. I'm just telling you. Good morning, Carrie. Good to see you. So Mandy says she's really excited and hopeful after last night going into the new year that this year will finally be the year I get all the things under control and become the healthiest version of myself. I love that very, very much. Could I clarify his suggestion of taking CLA when taking the thermogenic? That was fascinating. Thanks for asking that question, Linda. So the CLA, that's if you look up on the website, it's called Lean Muscle. Look that one up. And conjugated linoleic acid is what helps you maintain your muscle. When you are, basically what he's saying is when you are losing weight quickly, you want to preserve your muscle mass. And he talked a lot about protein and muscle, protein and muscle, protein and muscle. Like he could not stop talking about those two things. We are not getting enough protein and we have got to start building muscle. And it doesn't even have to be like, you know, you're not looking to get beefy. You're looking to just be, oh, my battery saver. You're looking to have strength. And he said that your muscles are so important. So the CLA, when you're taking the fat burner for those 90 days, when you're doing the Slimetry and the Ignite for 90 days, there we go. Take the CLA, take the lean muscle and preserve while you're doing that. And then potentially back off. So if you want, and you are all at different levels of how you want to do this, of how you want to implement this. Some of you are, so sorry, that was very loud and noisy. Some of you are all in and you want all of it because you don't have time to waste. I will absolutely help you to break this down and understand this. This actually is not that complicated. It's just that I'm changing up a routine that you already got into. And so that our brains can just for a second, just twinge a little tiny. But this is actually I felt like he was very clear. It was very streamlined. I now have even a more amazing track to run on. And I felt like that was not confusing. I was like, total clarity. So if you need to borrow some of my clarity while you're shifting around, just some of your thought process, just reach out. Messenger is a great way to reach out to me. I have a number right there. You can text me. You can ask me those questions. It was so encouraging and such great information last night. Carrie, I'm so glad you were on. I'm so glad. I'm going to go through my list and see who all was on last night and follow up and see if you guys have any questions. And again, if you want the flash sale for today, I am extending it. I've been asked to extend it. $150 before tax and shipping. And you can choose $15 in Amazon or Venmo Cash back from me. And the reason why I did this is because there was a promo that was coming and I never got clarification as to when they're going to release it. I think that they made a mistake as to showing the graphic and it came down quickly. So I feel like it's on the horizon potentially, but I really don't know. And I don't want you guys sitting. I don't like that. I want you guys having opportunity. So right now for today, we'll do the flash sale, right? And then you can get $15 back from me. I'm more than happy to do that. Like you have no idea. I'm so happy to do that for you guys. You guys are so amazing. You are I was thinking about this yesterday. You are some of the kindest women I have ever met in my entire life. You are so kind. You are so encouraging. You guys send me the nicest messages ever. I mean, it's really amazing. You guys are above and beyond. And so I'm so happy to do that. And then plus what you can do is you can get yourself positioned to have things coming in right at that Christmas time. So like, for instance, if you've never tried the gut reset, you've never tried the primer, this is an excellent time to grab the primer and get yourself a probiotic and do like, okay, because during Christmas time, right? Depending upon what you're eating, depending upon, like for me, having too much cheese can kind of make my body go, I don't know if I want to flow like I'm supposed to flow. So if you want help with constipation or indigestion, you know that when I am talking about nutrient deficiency, you're like, I know it's me. I know I'm not getting the nutrients I need. I can tell. And he even said, when you are not sleeping at night, when you are waking up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, it's probably a nutritional deficiency. And that explains why people who are doing the gut reset protocol, they are saying, Ruth had one, she has a connection with somebody that said, I am getting the best sleep I have had in years because finally your body's able to take in. So, hello, Marcy. Good to see you. I think I missed a couple of things. How long of a break do you have to take? 30 days. 30 days, Julie. That was a long time ago. I apologize. Asking for a friend. Is it possible with, I don't know what that is, Julie. Panettone? What is that? Is that like a scone? What is panettone? Tell me. You're hysterical. Please let us know your email address through DM. I think it's in my profile. I think it's in my profile. See, when I get off of my live, your comment will go away. That's what's so frustrating sometimes. Who was this Amy he talked about? Italian cake. Yeah, sure, you betcha. My sister did ask, she said, should I make pizzelles? And I said, those are the cookies. And I said, you made them in August for the family reunion. We probably don't have to have them again. I know my boys will be mad that I said that, but that's the way that is. I actually don't think I've never made panettone. I've never done that. I bet it's really good though. I probably don't need to know it. What was the Amy? Lisa. Did he talk about an Amy? Is that what happened? Carol, you met the 12-year-old? Oh, you want to sleep like a 12-year-old? Yes. Yes. Like he was saying. Okay, so that formula, just to let you know, and I'm telling you, you guys, don't be silly. He's talking about using this specific line that's extremely bioavailable. So I just want you to know that, like, there's a caveat to this. Oh, she was a doctor. Oh my gosh, Dr. Amy Shaw. Thank you for asking that, Lisa. Yes, she was a doctor. I wrote that down. Hold on. Dr. Amy Shaw. She's a gut health expert. Look her up. Carrie, you are amazing. Kirsten, thank you for all. You're so sweet. I'm going to put that up because that really makes me happy. You're so nice. It was so encouraging and such great information. Yes. I'm so glad. Carrie, you're so sweet. Thank you. I so appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, so his formula was 2 magnesium, and those are coming out in March, 2 turmeric, 2 ashwagandha, and a vitamin C. He said, you'll sleep like a 12-year-old. I'm like, well, I think we all want to sleep like a 12-year-old. Don't we now? All right. Does anybody have any questions before I jump off today? I want to make sure that I did not confuse anybody, but that I only enhanced your life. I am freaking excited. I am so excited because I want to know. I want to know what it's like to actually implement a thermogenic to that degree and see what happens. So I'm very excited about that. And if you have questions, make sure you ask me. Thank you, Carol, for writing that down, Dr. Amy Shaw. Yes, I will be looking her up as well. And I could bring her information to you. I'm sure she has a podcast, etc. And very, very beneficial. And the more we understand and the more we know, like you guys, this is very simple. This is not rocket science. I think that what is rocket science or what would be considered hard is when you have many different chronic ailments going on with the mixture of many different scripts going on. And then you have a bunch of side effects and you're trying to determine how to piece those together. If you can strip away scripts, and again, that's not my job, right? Because I'm not a doctor, but if you can strip away scripts and the side effects and simmer down those chronic issues, you can actually see straight and think clearly. You can get a clear assessment on what's going on inside of your body. That is priceless. Priceless. So instead, the conversation that we're having here is, you're so awesome. Linda says, thanks for your excellent recap. Have a blessed Christmas. Have a blessed Christmas, Linda. So good to see you. Amazing. So good to see you and Tony. When you can assess yourself better and think clearly, and lift up the hood of your engine and start working at things on a cellular level, I want you to know there's a feeling to having everything fire. There's a sense of well-being. There's a feeling of returning to maybe a version of yourself that you once knew that maybe you forgot existed, because there is cell regeneration that can happen in your body. You can biohack your body. You can give your body raw ingredients to work again. You can function at a different level, and it's not hard. This actually is not hard. It's just a shift in the way that you're viewing things. And instead of throwing a script at every symptom under the sun, you're revving up your engine and you're making it run again. And there's an old you in there that is just still waiting to live thriving instead of just surviving. And that new you includes weight loss, size change, a glow in your face. When I tell you that Pam was like beaming last night, she is freaking excited. She's so excited. She's in her 60s. It's not too late. It's not too late. So you guys have the most blessed day ever. And if you need anything, reach out to me. And if you need to take advantage of the flash sale, please let me know. If you want Amazon or Venmo, $15, $150 in order. Okay. And I'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have the best day ever. And you're so welcome, Donna. You guys are amazing. Amazing.